this important matter. The reason is that I think amongst the very many issues that I've brought forth, either publicly at the media or even in this house, is actually about this matter of payments which, even currently, are supposed to be remitted to either employees who worked for our government, who worked for government parastatals, who worked for private companies in our republic. Somehow, the trend that you look and observe is that there seems to be a consistency on how this money, which was meant to be deductions as retirement benefits for our people, whether the money was going to be given as gratuity for our people, whether money was actually supposed to be paid through the county governments so that the workers who have worked in these institutions can receive their legitimate dues. Madam Speaker, I've also been looking at why we treat our people so casually. I have always wondered that, and in fact, Madam Speaker, I really want to thank my brother, Honorable Mungatana, and Senator Olekina for their very impassioned plea on this matter. Because we seem to very casually treat these monies that are owned by employees, whether they're, as I've said earlier, whether they're working for the national government. I don't have the evidence whether there were any who have worked for this National Assembly or rather Parliament, but I know Parliament has been behaving reasonably well recently. But previously, these were issues where we had some of our colleagues coming to this National Assembly for more than 6 or 7 years, chasing after their retirement benefits. And Madam Speaker, the point I want to make is that even if you look at this money that we are talking about, which is supposed to be the deductions for our people, you can extrapolate it, and my colleagues, look at the other compensatory issues that have been raised in this house. Number one, the ex-bomb blast people. We allow these people to go to court. They go there, and of course, given one, the statute under which these bomb blasts took place here was not going to be accommodative, because at that time we didn't even have the platform on how we could argue and make these people compensated. Even some of them have done this through the Kenyan Human Rights Commission. But our institutions, and I call these institutions the National Assembly, or rather Parliament, has been unable to come up with what my brother, Honorable Mungatana, is talking about. Can we agree that there are certain compensations that cannot be done within the law? Why? Because some of these things have gone beyond their statute of limitations. Some of them should be based on human right basis, and some of them should just be based on common sense. If somebody was the sole income earner who was selling items outside the bomb blast, and the bomb blew up our people because somebody was trying to attack Kenya for being friendly to the United States of America, and then 50 or 30% of the individuals who were blown in that bomb are compensated, and those ones who lost, who have the post-bomb traumatic experiences, where some of them till today talk about how they are not able even to sleep, and it's been over 30 years. Surely we need to come up with a mechanism within the law on how we can compensate our people. Number two, it is true, the deductions which most probably were being done for those employees who are working at KICC and did not get to the statutory body that was supposed to have paid the employees was eaten by certain individuals. The truth is, these individuals were never followed. The truth is, the law was never used so that either we could recover this money or even make sense on what to do with the people who are not receiving their money. And of course, my colleagues have ably and wonderfully stated here, like Honorable Mungatana has again graciously raised the issue. Look at the way how some of our governors behave. They are unable to pay gratuity to people who've worked for them and they've moved. They are completely leave alone the political mismanagement of the workers in their county governments because they believe that some of these individuals were not loyal enough to them. Some of these people who even left some county governments some 3, 4, 5 years ago, Madam Speaker, have never received their pension, their payments. And why then as a house don't we come up with resolutions on how, one, those individuals who have faced injustice, let them get compensation through a government mechanism which this house can sit and actually draft. Number two, if there are county governments that have been unable to release funds, which most of them are not releasing those funds, I believe that we can actually pass a moratorium in this house or a memorandum of actually asking the controller of budget to make sure that the payments which are supposed to go to these employees become the first charge. Finally, I had my colleague raise a question. How did we get such irresponsible people that are not able to look at Kenyans in terms of their capacity, in terms of their exposure, in terms of their human rights, in terms of their legality, where we actually refuse people to get their money after working for 25, 30, 40 years in an institution, and many of these institutions were actually bankrupted. Then an excuse is given. It's the same thing. I think we saw Jomo Kenyatta Referral Hospital having the same issue, where people who used to work under the auspices of the World Bank are not receiving payments so that they can be released to go and do other things. And there are many other institutions like that. So what we are saying, Madam Speaker, is this. Yes, we can do all these reports like the one that has just come here, which is done extremely well. But our recommendations are always weak. And it's because we've always thought in this house that we don't have enough teeth to come up and implement some of these recommendations. And therefore, I'm seeking and persuading my colleagues in this house that let us take whatever that we find that is not functioning and we begin to fix it so that it can make Kenyans receive their right, receive their payments. If it is their ex gratia payments, whether it is their family payments, whatever payments they make, we make sure that some of these things are done according to the statutory period so that our people can begin to say that government and even the corporate sector, even all the economy of Kenya is an economy that is friendly to its workforce, because once you work and finish and you finish your years well and you take care of the responsibility you had, then naturally you should receive your compensation as your retirement benefit and your historical benefit. And therefore, Madam Speaker, my opinion is that I think, like my colleagues have said, let us begin through our committees to interrogate those issues that we are failing to implement. Once the recommendations are made in this house, seems like nothing actually is followed up. Even when we get some of the audit reports that have recently come up, where you find individuals, are being informed, Madam Speaker, that as far as Kenya is, our country is okay, doesn't have any challenges. Some of these things are the ones which make Kenyans really angry. And unfortunately, Madam Speaker, they might even blame the current government, and yet the issue is not really with the current government. I think this is an issue that historically and perennially been with the government of the day, that we do not treat our people with dignity, we don't treat Kenyans as real Kenyans, and we don't handle Kenyans the way we should. And Madam Speaker, I want to raise an issue which I saw where a member of parliament of Kituru Church South, Anthony Kibagendi, is being vilified, and in fact the House has decided that he has not behaved very well by him publicly mentioning that basically as members of parliament, even the Senate, we are becoming useless. That's the indictment that the public out here keeps raising about us. And the reason is we need to capture the mood. We need to understand what Kenyans want. Those things that don't need politics, can't we fix them? I don't see how individuals who are complaining why they are not being paid their retirement benefits, how this can be politics. Surely we can sit in this house, set up a subcommittee, which is a given permission or through the statutory powers of the Labor Committee, and make recommendations, and those recommendations are final and binding. And we can seek consultation with the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal and the High Court, and make sure that any of the laws we pass cannot be contradictory. And yet we operate like everything is normal. And yet, our people don't get payments from the statutory bodies that were supposed to pay them. And yet, we understand some of this money was actually stolen. The people who stole the money are not held accountable. So, Madam Speaker, I'd like to say that I agree with the report, and I appreciate the good work they have done. But we need to look for a way. And I remember there was a time when the Speaker made a ruling and said, stop complaining that you don't have the teeth. Can we now begin to build the teeth in this house, which can make Kenya a country that is governed and is respected the way it treats its workforce? With those few remarks, I want to say thank you, Madam Speaker, and I support.
Senator Wakili Sigei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also weigh into the report of the committee. I first, from the very onset, wish to appreciate the effort that